Hi there everybody and welcome back to the Toon Review YouTube channel for today's Newcastle United news. My name is Paul, thank you so much for watching. If you do enjoy the video, as usual, please do give it the thumbs up. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, why not come and be part of a brilliant community by subscribing. It is free to do so, but don't forget as well to hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload like this one or a live show. Right, let's get straight into it, shall we? Because it is broken within the last couple of hours that Newcastle United have had a second bid for Marc Guehi rejected. Now, the first bid we thought was a decent amount. It was only £40 million. I say only. It's a lot of money. But in terms of what Palace are wanting for Marc Guehi, it was rejected out of hand. Now, it was always expected that Newcastle would go in for a second bid. They have, but it was only 50 million, and it's well short of what Palace want, which is 65 million pounds for the centre back. It has been rejected again. Do I think this deal will eventually go through? I'm still hopeful. I have to admit, I'm still hopeful that this will go through. Keith Downey has reported that Steve Parish at Palace and Paul Mitchell are in negotiations still. They are still talking about the transfer. It is not dead in the water yet by any stretch of the imagination. So hopefully the two sides will meet in the middle somewhere and we'll get a transfer deal done out of this and Marc Guehi will become a Newcastle United player. But at the moment, a second bid rejected. It's a little bit frustrating, I have to say, because you know, we see other teams in the Premier League going in for transfers and getting them done, and they don't seem to take as long as what we do when we go in for negotiations. It seems to take forever. Now, I've seen a lot on social media, a lot of fans today, a little bit frustrated. It's fair to say that the things are taking so long with certain players to get done and dusted. West Ham, for instance, they are flying at the moment with their recruitment, bringing in players, getting the deals done. We've seen teams around or who are expected to be around Newcastle United next season getting deals done, and we're sort of just staggering to the start of the Premier League without any major signings. I don't think that'll be the case by the time the Premier League kicks off or by the time the window closes. I think we will have the centre-back in and we will have a right winger. If we don't, then that's just life. We get on with it. And, you know, we took a look at the squad the other day on one of our live shows, and it isn't exactly a bad squad when you put everybody together and you think if everyone stays fit, which is a big if given what happened last season. But at the moment, we're not in a bad position to go out and start the season. We've got cover in all the positions we need. However, right wing is still a major concern with me. I have to admit, right wing is a huge concern. Centre-backs, I think we can cope without bringing Marc Guehi in for the first part of the season, whether we go back for him again in January if it doesn't happen this summer. So I'm not too particularly worried about centre-back. It's right wing that I think we need somebody there desperately to improve the Newcastle United starting 11. Yes, Jacob Murphy is playing out his skin. He's doing really well. And he's a big favourite in Newcastle. Huge fan of the club, of course, is Jacob Murphy, and we love him. Miggy isn't good enough. We know that. We need improvement on that right-hand side. We need that elite player on the right to really bolster that front three. A lot of people have suggested that, you know, Anthony Gordon may start on the right and Harvey Barnes on the left. I don't think Eddie likes to do that because he wants to play Gordon on the left. He likes the inverted wingers, which is why we've been linked with left-footed right wingers in recent times. But the Guehi situation is frustrating because you look back to last season and you think about what happened with, you know, a couple of seasons ago, with Botman. It was very, very frustrating how long it took to get the deal done. And it seems to be that is the case again with Guehi. I'm not sitting here saying that the deal isn't going to happen because I think, as I said before, I think it will. And I think Newcastle, as fans, we have to be patient and let these guys get on with it behind the scenes and not jump to too many conclusions that, oh, you know, we're not wanting to pay this. We're just going to lose out. We need to be careful, though. We do need to be careful because there is other teams interested in Guehi. We've seen that across the media in recent days and weeks. So we have to be careful that we don't lose out on the players. You know, because they're taking so long, another team might come in and say, hey, hang on a minute, we'll go for this guy. We'll pay what you want. And then we've lost out on the deal completely. So we need to be very, very careful with what we do in the transfer market. But again, it seems to be so slow. And that is the frustrating side for me as a fan. And I know a lot of other fans are frustrated. But hey, we've got to put our trust in the people that are at the top end of this club trying to bring the players in. because the negotiating hard. Many people may turn around and say, oh, just pay what they want. Just pay what they want to bring him in. But Newcastle United will have a valuation of the player just like Crystal Palace do. And if Newcastle United don't think he's worth £65 million, they won't pay it. We've seen in the past that the hierarchy at Newcastle will not be bossed around, will not be pushed around when it comes to transfer fees. They will pay what they believe that player is worth. And if they don't believe Marc Guehi is worth £65 million, then that's why the negotiations are still going on. I think to put a 40 and 50 million pound bids in is a little bit cheeky, because I think 25 and 15 million pounds off what they value the player, they're a long way off in valuations, and that is a slight worry that they're that far off in valuations. But at the moment, the talks are still ongoing. Keith Downey said that the deal isn't off by any stretch. It's still ongoing, and we just have to put our faith in Paul Mitchell. And given his CV, I think everybody deserves to put the faith in Paul Mitchell, because he's done it before, he can do it again. So nothing on that as yet. Now, the away shirt release date has, been announced very briefly. It is expected to be the 13th of August. Which is early next week, of course. Now, a lot of Newcastle fans have had a bit of a backlash to this on social media, which is crazy in my opinion, because when the announcement came, there was a lot of Newcastle United fans putting comments underneath saying, it's merch, how about signing some first-team players? Now, I'm sorry, but use your heads in this, guys. Please just use your heads for once. These people that are constantly bickering on at the club for things to get done, the commercial side for replica shirts, etc., is nothing to do with the club bringing players in. It's two separate departments completely. So those of you that are putting comments underneath the away strip release day saying, oh, sign some players, you're just typing words that mean nothing. Completely nothing. This is the commercial side who are there to do the merchandise side of things and sell the replica kits. We've been asking for the replica kits for God knows how long. And now they finally make an announcement and people are putting stupid comments underneath saying, how about signing some players? It's all merch. I've never read so many stupid comments in my life. Sort yourselves out, man. Dear me. I'm looking forward to the away shirt being released. However, I'm not putting it in the same bracket as signing players. It's very, very different. So, yes, get excited by all means about the replica shirts coming out. Of course we are. But don't put comments underneath saying, sign some players. It's two separate departments, man. Anyway, but it is going to be the 13th, so that's something very much to look forward to early next week. Darren Eales has come out in praise of manager Eddie Howe. Of course, Eddie Howe linked with the England job numerous times since the departure, of course, and before the departure of Gareth Southgate. However, Darren Eales is very pleased that Eddie Howe is going to remain as manager of Newcastle United. He's classed him as an amazing coach. Darren Eales' exact words were amazing coach. He's explained that last season was very disappointing, not getting Europe and not being able to play the same sort of football that they played in the previous year. Described it as a roller coaster season. Now, everybody who's a Newcastle fan long in the tooth will know that pretty much every season with Newcastle United is literally a roller coaster. It is like sitting on a roller coaster ride. There's ups, there's downs, there's in the middle, and it never stops. It never stops at Newcastle. We know it doesn't. So, but Darren Eales has recognised that. He recognised the injuries that we had. And obviously, Newcastle United have done something in the summer to put that right. They brought Bunce in, of course, alongside Mitchell to try and sort out the injury situation. Why are we getting so many injuries? Is it training? Is it nutrition? That kind of things that they'll be looking at. So that's all changed behind the scenes, which is great for us. What he did say was, though, the disappointment in missing out on Europe has converted to a lot of positivity this season, that we can give the league and the cups a good go because there's no distractions this time around. We can put a really strong side out in all three domestic competitions, and we can. We've seen that from the squad we've got at the minute. Never mind signing anybody else. The squad we've got at the minute is very capable of taking us through a lot of rounds in the cups and doing well in the league. Now, what I did get an indication of is that although he's classed Eddie Howe as an amazing coach, the pressure's on Eddie to perform next season. With not being in Europe, The pressure is on Eddie to really make sure that we do well in the league and do well in the cups. But listen, Eddie will be expecting that of himself anyway. It's not exactly massive news that Darren Eales and the hierarchy at Newcastle are expecting big things in the domestic competitions this season. Eddie will want that as well. Eddie's a winner, so Eddie will know. But Premier League managers, pressure comes with a job, and every time a new season starts, the expectations are there, and it all starts again as it does for any other manager next week when the Premier League kicks off. Now, Kieran Trippier has been mentioned again as a target for West Ham. However, it won't go. They won't make an approach for Kieran Trippier until they find out what's happening with Aaron Wan-Bissaka at Manchester United. He is their first choice to go for. Manchester United have valued him, I think they were saying at around 15 million quid. I'm not sure whether West Ham want to pay that. He's got 12 months left on his deal at Manchester United, so there is no new deal in negotiation or anything according to this report. So they will only go for Kieran Trippier if they fail to get Wan-Bissaka. He is on the list, but look, West Ham are doing some brilliant business this summer. There's no doubt about it. They are the standout side for me in the Premier League who have done excellent business, signed some very, very good players, and will be a team to watch next season. No doubt in my eyes that West Ham will be a team to watch. Which, again, it brings back the frustrations about us and what we've been able to do or haven't been able to do in the transfer window. But it looks like Kieran Trippier will only be approached by West Ham if the deal for Wan-Bissaka doesn't happen. Now, finally, Eddie Howe, in a recent interview with Sky, has confirmed that he did not want to sell players. They were forced into it by PSR. So I can only, from my understanding of watching the interview, he's pretty much talking about Anderson and Minte, saying that there was no way they would have sold those players if it wasn't for PSR. And that is really frustrating, especially when, we found out recently about Manchester United giving leeway for PSR. And we have to sell two up-and-coming players in Elliot Anderson and, of course, Minte, who started the pre-season with Brighton, on fire. So it's very, very frustrating. And I mentioned Aston Villa there, slip up there, because they've had a similar problem to us with PSR. They are in the Champions League, yet still have to sell some of their best players. Where is the sense in this? Where is all the sense in PSR? And I got the feeling that watching Eddie Howe's interview, the frustration was there. The real frustration was there. Obviously, he can't be too angry about it. He's got to watch what he's saying, etc., because of it being a TV interview, etc. But you know what it is? You could tell he was pissed off. And, he's not the only manager that's pissed off regarding PSR. You can guarantee that. But it was very interesting to hear that, they were forced to sell, basically. Forced to sell them. They had no choice. And unfortunately, Minte got some very, very good money considering he hasn't kicked the ball in anger for Newcastle United. And of course, Elliot Anderson. So it is disappointment. You could tell that from Sean Longstaff's interview the other day when he was talking about PSR. It's all a big frustration for the players, for the management, for the football clubs. It needs addressing and it needs sorting out because it can't go on like this. It's an absolute shit show for PSR. It really is. But there you go, guys. That is the video done and dusted for today. Thank you very much for watching. As I said at the start, if you did enjoy it, hit that like button. Very, very important for the channel. We keep the likes coming in. And of course, if you're new and you like what you see, please come and subscribe. It is free to do so. We have a fantastic community here on the Toon Review. But don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload like this or a future live show. Now, if you're watching this on Friday afternoon, of course, we have Match Day Live tonight. Newcastle taking on Girona in the Cellar Cup. Join myself and Billy for the commentary on that one. And we will also have Match Day Live again tomorrow for the second game of the Cellar Cup. We'll also bring you any latest news as well at half-time that we have from the club, and we'll chat about transfers, etc. So if you're not going to the Cellar Cup, join us here, 7:15. It's a 7:30 kickoff, and we'll watch the match together, and you can knock the commentary off and listen to us as per usual. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Take care.